Ryan channel. I'm Leroy. That's Michael. We're presented by Nerdy by Nature Productions, and
Oh, we're presented now.
I mean, we were always presented.
Oh, okay.
We're just. You like my dad cup? Hold on, wait. Father's Day's coming up. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Right there. Can you see that? Can y'all see that?
Not
Nope.
really.
It
It's
says
like I
dad.
don't know.
It says dad in 2020. It's the year I became
Okay,
a dad. That's what
got
Katie
it.
got me last year for Father's Day.
Okay,
Mm. Last year for my birthday. I don't know, man. It was a gift. Um,
fantastic.
So we're bringing you this tape press play because my son's birthday is coming up next week, and I have to clean the entire house, do a lot of yard work, get the house ready for family and in-laws coming into town because it's a big deal. Um, Basically,
Why is it a big deal?
because I kept them alive for a year and 3 years.
Okay.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
Nope, did not. Okay.
So yeah, so this is a tape press play, but this is a press play that I've been.
Also, I like that you said I kept them alive as if Katie had nothing to do with it.
Here's the thing: any doubt that she could keep them alive, but since I, so
Okay.
here's a little behind the scenes curtains for you guys. You know where you are. We go on tangents. We're past a minute. Yeah. Okay. Good. So I work nights, just like Michael does. My shift is 2:30 to midnight. Katie works 8 to 5. So I am technically the primary caregiver for the children because I keep them in the morning. There was some doubt about my abilities to take care of them. Granted, I understand. I've killed a few plants in my day, wrecked a few cars. The jury was out. I've seen capable to change diapers and feed them and keep them upright, you know. So, yay me.
Yay, yay, all of us.
Yes. And social services was never called. So,
Okay,
that's a win.
that's a win. Okay. Yeah, you don't want DSS being called because that ain't good for them.
No, it's,
DSS is not great.
I mean, this is a tape one, but
Yeah.
this is a good one. I have been itching to do, me and Michael have been itching to do this. Maybe not Michael so much, but me. I've been itching to do this because we have been talking about this off camera for so long, and we've kind of interjected it in other press plays that we've had. But I think this is an interesting conversation because right now we're in the summer blockbuster season. Um, we've had a couple of movies that came out this year that have been gangbusters, whether it be Super Mario Brothers, Little Mermaid has done well, Fast X just came out. As we record this, Into the Spider Verse sequel, Across the Spider Verse, just came out in the theaters. Um, this summer, we're going to see a new Transformers movie, Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part One. We're going to see the last Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe the last one with Harrison Ford.
that's all. That's the only one that counts.
Okay, like
They're the only ones
they
that-
gonna keep making Indiana
well,
Jones.
I mean, maybe they'll wait because Harrison Ford is on the record as saying, "Do not do any more Indiana Jones. Like the franchise is over. If you do something else."
Okay.
Um, so I was we kicked this idea around outside of your Marvel movies, your MCU, and Star Wars movie, and what are the next big franchises that could actually fill the gap of these franchises like the Fast and the Furious and Indiana Jones leaving. John Wick is winding down. There's talks of a John Wick Part 5, but after the events of John Wick 4, what do you do with that? We know that they're going to spin off and have a ballerina movie. There's a Continental series. So what's next for movies that gets people to the theaters?
Oh man, I think it's weird or it's interesting because we talk about all these franchises spinning down, but I
Mhm.
feel like so many production studios and movie studios are all about trying to make more and more franchises and make
Yeah.
these franchises that
Yep.
necessarily weren't.
Hmm.
People used to love to do one and dones. You don't see
Hmm.
that as much anymore.
Well,
Um,
not just one and done's. It's almost as if, because remember, during the heyday of Hollywood, it wasn't the franchise; it was the star. The
sure.
star was the vehicle. if I am a big star, you'll come see my movies. And now it's more the franchise, it's the known IP. Were you a book before? Were you a TV show? Were you a movie that we rebooted? Were you a comic? So were you a video game? That seems to be what's driving this new thing. And very few people make a big movie and then that's it. It's just a movie.
Hmm.
You see some directors, you're right now Oppenheimer from uh,
Nolan.
Nolan. So you've got Nolan still doing that. Denny Villeneuve. I probably butchered his name. I apologize. English is not my first language. So you're seeing some people do one and dones or like tackling a project. But now it's really the vehicles of these franchises that is driving people to the theaters.
Sure, sure.
So IGN put out a list, and I'll just run through the top 10. Here's one of from the article from Connor Shepard. Some of these long running franchises here are a conglomeration of all the projects within the universe, while some are specified to these specific spin offs that earned their own place among the ranks. Some of these franchises seem to have no insight when it comes to future production, securing them an exponential future of output and income, promising their superfans will always have something new to watch. So, number 10, James Bond. Number 9, The X-Men. 8, DC Extended Universe. Now, here's where it gets weird because, again, they list it as these are franchises, but then it's like, here's a character within a franchise or characters within a franchise. Because here's number 7, The Avengers. 6 is Batman. 5 is the J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World. 4 Spider-Man. 3 is Disney live action reimaginings. 2 is Star Wars, and 1 is the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Sure. And they rank this in terms of what?
They box office.
Box office. Okay, got it.
So start with billion. Star Wars is 5. Disney live action is 3, and then everybody Spider-Man is 3, and then everybody else is close. JK is close to 3, and then 2 on down.
Yeah, it's weird that the Avengers are different from the MCU.
Because what they're grouping is movies and characters. And here I want to say this. I disagree with this list because if you're going to do that, then you could do Thor, you could do Captain America as a franchise. And I don't consider those franchises. I consider this run of movies from Marvel, the MCU, as a franchise. Mm-hmm. And now if you wanted to call, to me, a franchise is that series of movies within that universe. So sure. The Fox movies that were X-Men movies, that's a franchise to me. James Bond is different because it's one singular character, whereas Batman is within a particular, same thing with Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff. So in your estimation, what movies would franchises get you to the movie theater? Like if somebody says this is coming out, you're like, I'm going to go see that.
And I can go with any movie I want, and it doesn't have to be on this list that you just mentioned. Or
no, I mean it would be nice if it's franchise, but if it's not, tell me why.
Oh, a new Top Gun movie.
It's funny you mentioned that because there is rumors that Top Gun could be a franchise.
I mean, after Maverick made all that money, he said, and this is just me speculating, I'm pretty sure they just thought, oh, we'll make this and it'll do okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody expected it to do what it did. So now they're like, oh, let's try and figure out a way to make another movie out of this, which they left us with characters. Mm-hmm. They left us with plot lines that could definitely happen. Yep. So yeah, I would definitely see another Top Gun movie. Just for the fact of seeing more of these crazy aerial stunts and Tom Cruise and doing all this stuff practical as much as possible.
And the funny thing about that is Tom Cruise had to be walked into the movie. Because if you remember, sat down with him and they came up with this grand idea um, to pull off this movie. And Joseph Tom Cruise has worked with Joseph Kosinski before on Oblivion, which Tom Cruise is another person. He has a couple of he has the Mission Impossible franchise, but Tom Cruise is notorious for doing a movie and then that's it. I don't know if you guys can see that. That is Edge of Tomorrow,
Hmm.
a movie that people want a sequel for. They want a franchise. They really enjoy this movie. I think this is one of his best movies. Um,
It's
I,
good. It's very
I,
good.
I would say probably top five. I would say probably top five. But Tom Cruise is another one who does. He is a star who is the vehicle. You go to the movie theaters to see what Tom Cruise is doing next. Um,
And is it because people find him so charismatic, or is it the fact that they know he's going to do his own stunt, so they want to see that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Tom Cruise does his own stunts, so you're trying to see if he's going to die on camera.
Yeah.
Like Jackie Chan brings it every single time,
Hmm.
but also he, whether the film is good or bad, you always feel like he's going to give it his all. He's really passionate about what he does. If you remember, Tom Cruise was the guy who was pushing to, I'll come to your house and reset your TVs. Him, James Cameron, Nolan, those guys, I think Spielberg too, were really about like the different settings on TVs. They did PSAs about it. So he's another one who's like, he has a franchise.
Slight tangent.
Yeah.
Are people still trying to push for this high frame rate stuff on TV?
Mm,
Motion smoothing. I've never been a big fan of motion smoothing, but people always talk about motion smoothing, and I don't think it looks good.
yes, but I think right now we have bigger issues, so it's kind of fallen to the wayside. I
Okay.
think right now everybody's worried about the rise of Skynet and AI, the
Okay.
writer's strike. Um, we had the pandemic, so it kind of fell down on the totem pole of things that we cared about.
Okay.
But I think people like Tom Cruise and Spielberg and auteurs are still like, hey man, what's your setting on your screen? So
Gotcha. Okay.
um, it's funny because you mentioned Top Gun, which is recent. Um, I agree with you. Top Gun could be a good franchise, but this is what happens every single time, and you wonder. You have a good movie in the beginning, a cult classic. Now, whether or not Top Gun is a good movie, it is a classic. It's Americana. Um, some would say it's a PSA for the military. Probably. Top Gun Maverick, same thing. But when she returns, and that's the question for Top Gun. And then you have other movies where it's like just like Top Gun that had classics, the Alien franchise, the Xenomorph franchise, whether it's the original Alien, Ridley Scott, or sequel James Cameron. In my honest opinion, I think one of the best one to two back to back 1-2 punches because the two movies were so different. And then you had the other movies, you had the Aliens versus Predator. And then they restarted the franchise and the universe with Prometheus, and it has not done as well. I think Prometheus was a very nice outing. It was a swing and a miss, but I still
Hmm.
like it.
Hmm.
Um, but that last movie, man, whew, Alien Covenant did not do what they wanted it to do. Um, so you run the risk of that. Now we know we have an Alien franchise TV show coming from FX, which is going to be on Hulu. But yeah, Fast 10. Then says he wants 2 more movies.
You know,
Would you give it to him based on Fast 10? Based on
no,
what wow,
no. Let's
okay,
let's wrap this up. Let's
wow,
get
okay.
you get one more. We don't need to. I mean, it was a stretch, and it's not even that I'm over the stunts. I am. The movie jumped the shark a long time ago. I'm fine with that.
You think so? Because for me, it jumped. It to where it wasn't. I don't want to say not believable, but this one was the one where I was like, okay,
I mean, it
This,
stopped being believable. It stopped being believable in Too Fast, Too Furious. Ain't no way your car going to do all those jumps and still manage to, after it lands with the shocks, and be fine. No, I don't believe it. Sorry, but I'm fine with it.
which one is Too
But
Fast and
it's not
Furious?
about jumping the shark for me.
Which one was Too
That's the
Fast?
second one.
Oh, really? Oh, you said two was unbelievable. Okay, okay,
Yeah, I'm like, what are we doing? This is foolishness. But I'm
okay.
fine. It's cool. But it's not for me. The shark jumping moments. It's just this plot has been stretched so far, and we kind of talked about it when we did our Fast X review.
Yes.
Um, Everybody is tied some way to Dominique Toretto,
Hmm.
and there's a world around. I get it because it is that, but somehow everybody is connected to a family member, or somebody has a dead relative, or somebody's coming back, and it's like, let's wrap this up.
Well,
We've been on a ride for 20 plus years, and I've enjoyed all of it. I am a huge fan, but it's time to wrap it up, or at least give me a spinoff with somebody else.
we do have the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff, and part
Hmm.
of the reason why it's wrapped around Dom is because the person who started the franchise with Vin Diesel is dead. Paul Walker is no longer with us,
Hmm.
so they had to pivot to Dom because The Rock is no longer in these. What as we tape, I don't know if you've seen Fast 10, but The Rock has announced on his Twitter page that him and Vin Diesel squashed their beef last summer. He's going to be going forward as Hobbs in some way, shape, or form, carrying on the Hobbs Fast franchise. He's going to be in Fast 11.
Hmm. Conspiracy hat.
Go ahead.
Hobbs and Shaw 1 didn't make as much money as he thought it was going to, so let me get back with Vin Diesel to get back into good graces for Hobbs and Shaw 2.
I'm going to go a step further.
Okay.
I'm going to go a step further for conspiracy theory with you. And I'm going to go further down the rabbit hole in that he spurned Vin Diesel and they had that beef because Vin Diesel had the Fast franchise. And The Rock was like, hey, man, I'm about to be Black Adam and take over Warner Brothers. I don't
Yeah.
need you in your cars. And then that happened.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we both need each other, which in a sense they really did. Because with
It's
the
all
death
about family coming back together.
because with the death of Paul Walker, the reason why Five was so good franchise that it didn't have because Brian, aka Paul Walker, was no longer a cop. He was a dad. And The Rock gave that law enforcement part that was missing. And when you phased out Paul Walker's character because of his passing, they went into the super spy mode, which I don't have a problem with it. I personally got back on board with the franchise with 4 and 5. I still think 5, 5 and 6, 5, 6, 7, and right at 8 is where I'm like, okay, I'm good. They could have ended it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think, but again, that franchise is winding down. Now, how do you go forward with these characters who may still want to be in the movies? Who did you kill? Who did you didn't? Who you have not killed? Where do you go with that franchise? But the Fast movies themselves are winding down, diminishing returns. Um, Now they've made over $1 billion.
Hmm.
So here's the question: what's next?
You mean what's next for Fast and Furious, or
I'm
what's
saying
next
what's
for?
next going down the line because again, let's look at. Can you see that?
I assume it's Superman. Yeah, I can see the
Yes,
kind of the
Man of
glare.
Steel.
Yeah.
Sorry, Man of Steel. So James Gunn is taking over. The last couple of movies have not done well. Speaking of The Rock, Black Adam did not do well. Shazam 2 did not do well. Now,
Did you watch Shazam 2 yet?
I've watched part of it.
Dang, couldn't even
I have
finish it, huh?
no. So I was going to sit down and watch it, but I couldn't. Then I went to my parents' house, and my dad got a hold of the remote, and there was a fight between the family of what we're going to watch. My dad turned on Shazam 2. A dragon came on screen, and my son ran and was like, "What was that?" And my
Okay.
dad won the fight because he got to watch Shazam 2. So we watched the end of Shazam 2 because my son, and my brother were like, huh, there's a dragon. And my son was like, Daddy, there's a dragon. And I'm like, you know what? We're watching Shazam 2 then.
Okay.
But yeah, DC Extended Universe, the James Gunniverse. Can they bring people back to the theater?
I think they can. I think people like James Gunn. I think they like what he represents. He's quirky. He has at least in terms of the Guardians of the Galaxy, he has a mantra of, or at least I feel like a mantra of, throw 1,000 jokes at you, and hopefully most of them stick. And I think they usually do. But I feel like he has so many jokes at you, so many that he throws so many jokes at you so fast that okay, I like more than I don't like.
So you hold on. Are you saying that just for his Guardians films or all of his films?
Well, see, I only know James Gunn really for Guardian stuff. I know he's done a
Ah,
bunch of other stuff, but I don't
so
really
you
know
so
the other stuff.
so hold on. So you
So I
didn't.
don't know his trauma stuff.
What about Brightburn? What about Dawn of the Dead, the remake he did with Zack Snyder? Because remember he wrote that.
I did not see that.
Oh, okay.
That's a scary movie. Why would I see that?
Well, it's not really scary. It's more of an action adventure with some horror.
I said what I said.
I say that to try to get you to watch it
Okay, yeah.
because I don't feel like it's scary. I think there's some shocking moments in it, but I think it's a good movie. Um,
The only of the dead stuff I saw was Army of the Dead. Or which
yeah,
is the one with the
that's
bank?
Army of the Dead. That's Army of the Dead. So
Yeah.
that's in the same universe as Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
Which, if you can get through Army of the Dead, you could do Dawn. You could do Zack Snyder's and James Gunn's Dawn. I think you could. Um,
But so yeah, I know of him as being funny within that stuff, and I know I
mhm.
like his humor. I wonder if he's going to bring that to the DCU. I
Now
don't know
he's
that he is.
now so we he's done the Suicide Squad, which I like.
Oh yeah,
Um,
man, I'm so sorry, James Gunn. I really did enjoy that, and I forgot about it. I did
wow.
like that,
But I mean, but I so
and Peacemaker. I like that as well.
I really liked the Suicide Squad. It's somewhere over here. Might be in the room. So I really enjoyed the Suicide Squad. I thought John Cena was a great addition as Peacemaker. Idris Elba. I love that dynamic between them.
Hmm.
Um, he's going to be doing Superman, the Superman movie. He's got a couple of other projects, fires burning. I think the DC universe is in good hands. The problem is they still have to get through all of these other movies before we get there. We have to get through Blue Beetle, we got to get through The Flash, and we got to get through Aquaman 2. So they don't kill them. But Flash has
Hmm.
a lot of positive momentum going forward. So
I saw a new-ish Flash trailer in front of Across the Spider-Verse this morning.
mhm.
It had a lot of the same parts that I've seen, but there are a couple of different extra, like extended beats. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I am really excited for Flash. And
I,
I think that's in like 2 weeks.
yeah. June 16th,
Yeah.
I believe.
Because next week is what? Transformers?
Yeah, because Indiana Jones is at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's like, man, June, man. I
That's
might be
what
at the movie. I might be at the movies every week.
but now you see why I want to have this conversation because as we go through the June month, where you have hit after hit. Well, I don't want to say hit. You have tent pole after tent pole after tent pole,
Hmm.
and I want to highlight Breck Warren because in one of the comments when we did the Indiana Jones trailer reaction, Breck Warren talked about the fact of he's a teacher.
Hmm.
He works with kids, and they weren't hyped for Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones were for people who looked like this. Like they didn't grow up with Harrison Ford being this badass. They grew up with the Fast franchise. They grew up with Michael Bay's Transformers with the
Hmm.
MCU. So Indiana Jones, this being the last ride, the last time they saw was Crystal Skull, and that did not leave a great impression on
No,
them.
not at all.
So, and I think the movie that hit this year, if done right, is Illuminations and Nintendo Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that thing's already a blockbuster.
What I'm saying is, I think that franchise could be a blockbuster.
Oh,
I,
yeah, for sure.
I think you do a Smash Brothers movie, you do a Donkey Kong movie, like you could really turn that into a huge franchise. And I honestly think Super Mario Brothers is the best looking Illumination movie they've done.
Oh yeah, for sure. That movie is incredible. Um,
Um,
there's a new DreamWorks movie coming out called Ruby something American Kraken or Teenage Kraken.
I hadn't
I had
seen
never
that.
heard of it. I was like, I guess
I
this
have
could
to
be
go
all right.
look. I have
I
to
don't
go
know,
look that one up.
but
Um,
it's a animated movie or whatever.
so you've seen both Avatars.
Uh huh.
Could
Wait,
that be?
have you not seen the second one yet?
I hadn't seen the second one yet.
Man,
I'm waiting for it to come to Disney Plus.
man,
Um,
you get a kid and you just change, huh?
I'm so behind. Like before, because remember we used to do matinees and I could go, but now I can't. The
Yeah.
boys in the morning, and I'm not to go be that dude who brings a baby to the movie theater.
Sound like, man, you better take that child with you.
I can't. My principals will not allow me to bring a baby to the movie theater because I hate those people.
Hmm.
Those people should be deported to another planet.
Man, not to another planet. Jeez.
So I was in the movie theater, and I don't even think these movies are great. I was in the movie theater when Underworld 2 came out. I was on a
Wow.
date, and this lady took this little screw in the film. And me and this woman were like, what? Like, we bonded over like this part of the movie. Like, what the? Why would you bring him to this? What did you think was going to happen? Did you think this was a
Hmm.
Care Bear movie? And you just, it was really bad. And I felt bad for the kid because your
Yeah.
mom is shit.
Not your mom is shit.
Why would you bring a child to that?
I mean, you're not
Why?
wrong.
Why? Like it
You're
was
not.
just so, like, and I don't think the Underworld. Speaking of franchises, I don't think the Underworld movies are bad. I thought the first one was okay, but after
I mean,
they're
they've gotten increasingly worse.
no comment. Um,
Kate Beckinsale, beautiful woman. Uh, your movies are not great. Your underworld movies are not great.
all I will say is the first one was the best one, and again, diminishing returns. Why did you think that was okay, appropriate for a child? That's where I am. And keep in mind, I wasn't even a parent then. I was a degenerate.
You just knew. I was like, nah,
That's, as a degenerate single man who was
unacceptable.
who was on the prowl with the date, even I was like, that is some shit you shouldn't do.
Man, I love it.
But yeah, so back to Avatar.
Hmm.
Do you realize that Fast 10 had 10 as a budget? Fast 10 had a budget $10 million less than Avatar 2.
That's crazy.
It is, isn't it?
Hmm.
Mind blowing.
I mean, having said that, though, I saw all that money spent on Fast X. I saw all them explosions.
True, but here's the question.
What, Fast X or the latest Avatar?
Because here's and before you answer, remember I remember when you saw Avatar 2, and I remember the text messages you were like, "Yo, you weren't feeling that way after Fast 10." The text message I got after Fast 10 was Jason Momoa understood the assignment.
Yeah.
Avatar 2, you were like, "Yo, you need to see this in 4X or 4D."
I said 4D.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I said that because I didn't see
Yeah,
it in 4D.
I thought you did. Would you
No, I didn't see that in 4D.
or IMAX? You sent when after you
Maybe I said
saw it.
IMAX. Yeah.
It might have been
Oh,
IMAX because you texted me. You were like, "Yo, you got to see this on
yeah.
a big screen."
I mean, thinking back on it, I probably enjoyed my time more with Avatar than I did with Fast 10. Um, Avatar.
And keep in mind, you were not hype on Avatar 2 when we kept watching them trailers.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. But James Cameron said, "Come sit with me, son. You're gonna like this a lot." And I think I enjoyed it. If I had to put my interest in terms of Avatar 3 versus Fast Double
Mhm.
X or whatever it's going to be, I'm
Double
prop
X.
I'm probably more excited for Avatar 3.
Okay,
Um,
and that's big
just
because you are a Fast fan.
oh yeah, for sure.
You're a family man.
I am. Man, if you can get Jason Momoa's Dante in Avatar. Ooh,
Hey,
I want the same character somehow transported to Avatar. Like, give me that.
question:
Mhm.
is he a Navi or is he a human
Oh, he's
fighting
a
the Navi?
human. He's a
Oh,
human, and
okay.
he's a bad guy.
So he's a little person fighting the Navi.
Hmm.
Really?
Yep.
I would see that.
He's going to use those car bombs to take the Navis down a little bit. Throw
The
them up
bridge
there.
bombs.
Yes. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. But yeah, no, I Avatar. I mean, it was a beautiful sequel,
Mhm.
nice story, and there was just more there at the end for me to latch onto than Fast X.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna do a. We're gonna do a. I'm gonna do a fast.
What is this, a lightning round?
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw franchises of the franchise to keep going, the next installment, and we'll go from there. Okay.
So what are my options? Either am I excited for it to keep going or not? Yes, no.
You like where do you stand on this franchise? Like basically your opinion on where do we stand on this franchise? Like, is it, in other words, you tell me, like, you give me your opinions, like, no, end it. I don't need to see any more of this. Or, yeah, I would see some more of this. I'd go to the theater. You let me know where you stand on this. Or,
So
like,
we probably need to figure out a rubric here so we can. So we're gonna have three options. We're gonna have uh yes in theaters.
yeah, okay.
We're gonna have
No, hold on, wait. Let's start with, do you want to see another installment? Another installment in theaters or streaming? Let's do that. Is that good? Or what do you think your third rubric should be?
yes in theaters, yes, yes in theaters, yes streaming, and just no.
Hmm.
We'll do those three.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh. Yes in theaters. Oh, you should probably say them
Okay,
as you
sorry.
bring them
I
up. And
apologize.
I only say that because there's a glare, so
There's
that
a
people
glare.
know it's
John
John
Wick.
Wick. Okay, yeah,
John Wick. This
yes
is
in
John Wick
theaters.
2, Chapter 2. All right. Uh, Monsterverse, Godzilla, King Kong.
Yes in theaters.
Okay.
I was about to say streaming, but I want the spectacle of the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is a tricky one because uh, you'll see why. Star Trek.
Yes, streaming.
Oh. Hold
I don't. Yeah, yes, streaming.
on. With this crew?
Yes,
Pine
streaming.
crew? Okay.
Hmm.
Chris Pine crew streaming. All right. Bad Boys.
Fucking hate you. Yeah. Yes. Hold on. Yes, in theaters.
Woo!
I fucking hate you.
Shameless
Hey,
plug.
man.
Shameless plug.
Bad Boys for Life. Man, that was a good movie.
If you want to know why that is a big deal, go watch our review of Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, that's on the old channel.
It is? I thought it was on the new channel.
No,
Oh, man.
definitely not.
Oh. Don't go to that channel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Bad Boys for Life,
that
man. They got me. Well, they couldn't say the title for the fourth movie, but
hey man, because I don't think they thought they was
well,
gonna
to be fair, they didn't think they was gonna do another one, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Next, Bond universe.
Yes, in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a sticker on the
Pulling out a
front.
magic card? What is happening?
No, there's a sticker on the front of it I had to
Okay.
take off.
Hmm. Maybe no.
Ooh, we got our first no, boys and girls.
Yeah, no.
We
I feel
got
like I'm
our
getting diminishing returns on that.
We got our first no. Hold on.
Hmm.
Oh man, there's some more movies in the back, but I forgot to bring. Hold on, let me see. Is there anything else in here? Oh wait, is
I'm
that
just saying, if
more?
you don't have show and tell anymore. You can just name franchises and I'll say stuff.
Okay, I'm just trying to see. So now we're going to get into a couple of franchises that I know you know. So let's go through them. One is coming out this month. Transformers.
Yes, in theaters.
After Transformers, though.
Oh, after this one,
After this one, so
that's tough. I mean, if this one sucks, I mean,
mhm.
as of right now, the trailer has me hyped for this new one, so I'm going to
and the
assume
bump
it's on the ups.
and the
And Bumblebee,
Bumblebee was
so I'm
good.
going to say
Okay,
yes in theaters.
okay. Um, I don't have one here. They're over. Fantastic Beasts, the franchise,
Wait, which one?
the Fantastic
Wh-
Beasts franchise, because
wh-
that's all we got right now.
oh no,
Oh, oh,
in that Fantastic Beasts is horrible. They've gotten progressively worse. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, no.
okay. Boys and girls,
And I don't know that I want to support J.K. Rowling anymore.
understandable. Boys and
So
girls, if you're keeping a score at home, he said no to Harry Potter, no to Jurassic Park, and Star Trek is streaming. Everything else, yes. Um, so hold on. Wait for it. Okay, I got two more
okay,
because they got the streaming going.
yes, streaming.
No more movies.
That one's tough
I that see that
because it really depends
would
on what it is.
because we know we're getting three new movies.
Like, here's the thing: if you were to,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, if you were going to tell me that it is another episode 10 or episode 11 or whatever, I'd probably say streaming.
Well,
If you were going to tell me,
that's technically what Ray's movie is going to be. Restarting the Jedi Order. That's a continuation
yeah,
of
but
that.
we don't know what the title is. Like for
True.
me, if you call it Star Wars Episode 10, Ray, blah blah blah,
Ray.
I'm not gonna be as on board. If you
Okay.
call it a Star Wars story, Ray's whatever,
Hmm.
that sets my mind differently, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Like if it's a numbered episode, I'm more
Mhm.
streaming. If it's not that and it's like a standalone or whatever, I'm like, I'll see that in theater.
Because for those of you who don't know, Star Wars Celebration came out a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah,
We
it's
know
been
we're
months.
getting we know we're going to get Daisy Ridley is back with another installment of her character Ray. We're going to get a Taika's movie has not been shelved. Rogue Squadron has been shelved. They don't know if that's going to be a TV series on Disney. We're going to do it. Just go get Joseph Gunsky from Top Gun Maverick and let him do the movie. Um, and we know we're getting a James Mangold movie, uh, director of Logan and the last Indiana Jones movie, Dial of Destiny. So they're coming back to theaters. It's just a matter of how they come back. Um, this one, this is an easy one. It's a layup.
I went to
Spider
somewhere
Verse.
else. Oh yeah, sure. In theaters.
Yeah, Spider Verse. Last one. Actually, interested to see what you say about this one. Lord of the Rings.
I'll probably say in theaters.
Really?
Yeah, just
Because you watch
because
Rings of Power.
I did. Yeah,
And
I thought it was all right.
okay.
Um, there's something to the spectacle of seeing those type of movies on a big screen
Okay.
and the grandeur of New Zealand or wherever they're filming for those types of things.
Mhm.
They look great. So yeah, I would say in theaters.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to these franchises,
Hmm.
how much does merch of the franchise? Like, look, hold on, let me rephrase. I apologize. That's not a good way to. How much do you think merchandise enhances a franchise or galvanizes the fan base to go see a franchise? Because I am a toy collector.
Hmm.
I action figures, um, comics, books. I read all the extra stuff. How much do you think that affects a franchise and actually helps a franchise? Because we're both on the record of saying there's no reason why th- this did not have a line of toys, cars, video games. Like they've started doing it now, but they did not capitalize on the franchise like a Marvel, like a Star Wars, or even a Warner Brothers with DC has done. Um, do you think that matters?
Mm, I think big studio houses, production studios, whatever, if they can get that merchandise out to get people to sell it, I think it goes a long way to keeping it in people's mind, in the mind's eye, keeping it in the zeitgeist. And if you have a lot of money, like a viewer, if you have a lot of money invested in a product, you're more likely to go see another one. So I think merchandising can do a big deal, can help push a franchise.
I guess for me, I think it is with a franchise that keeps you tied to it. So I think one of the things that I think Marvel did and Star Wars to a certain extent, both kind of have a symbiotic relationship with each other with how they already had a fan base built in based on their prior things. Star Wars being a movie franchise that then blossomed into toys, comics, video games, books with the expanded universe, which kept people tied to the franchise. And then they brought the movies back. I think with the MCU, you had an entire generation of comics and storylines and characters. So then when you finally got Robert Downey Jr., who did a very good one. Robert Downey Jr. is a good actor. You know,
Hmm.
he had some issues in his past. He overcame them, but I think the MCU and Robert Downey Jr. needed each other, and I think you got a great hit with John Favreau with this movie. But I think also the fact of comics as a phenomenon across America, whether you had the Wu Tang Clan embracing Bobby Digital, Tony Stark, having Bill Sienkiewicz do album covers, whether you had MF Doom, a rapper who literally wore a mask like Doctor Doom. You had within hip hop a love of Marvel Comics. People grew up with Marvel Comics. And then you had a movie, and then you had that extra backing to support your films. You already had you already had a fan base with these movies, whether it was the Incredible Hulk in the beginning, from the TV series, whether it was the X-Men cartoons, the Fox X-Men, you already had a built-in fan base.
Hmm.
And I think that actually, whether you call it merchandising or not, they were selling you a story that the MCU embraced and pushed forward. And those little Easter eggs uh, for the fans, I think the MCU, the rise of social media, hit at the right time, and we've never seen anything like it. The closest you can get to is probably Star Wars in 1977,
Sure.
um, and that was without social media, just word of mouth. And so I think the MCU is this generation's Star Wars. Um, but let's be honest, there's some diminishing Beatles in Endgame and Infinity War. So
Sure. I mean, I will say this: I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I was like, okay, superhero movies are getting back to where I like them. And
Mhm.
then I saw Across the Spider-Verse, like, oh, this is what superhero movies can really be.
Mhm. And that
Um,
leads more credence to James Gunn's quotes where he was saying people aren't tired of superhero movies; they're just tired of crap.
mhm,
Now I'm paraphrasing. He did not say that, but he was basically saying if you make a good story, whether it's a superhero movie or if it's we've been debating Martin Scorsese's movies, a good story is a good story. Regardless of the vehicle it's in, you talk about Spider Verse, whether it's Scorsese and his new movie coming out, or if it's his movies that he used to do, his older movies. A good story is a good story.
mhm.
The MCU was a good story as far as a storyline. Um, they had some misses. They've had misses in the recent, and they had. We'll see with movie wise with Marvel's coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I definitely thought, oh, that would probably be my most anticipated, or that might be my favorite superhero movie of the year. But
Okay.
no, it's definitely Across the Spider-Verse for sure. And I don't know what Marvel's is going to do, but I don't think it's going to top that.
Okay. Um, Give me some titles because we talked about Mission Impossible a little bit. What franchise would you like to see keep going that I haven't named? Something that maybe not be on the radar,
Oh,
maybe some.
Ninja Turtles.
Okay,
Yeah,
we just mute name mayhem.
yeah. Give me more of that. I think that is a franchise, sort of like Madonna, that continues to reinvent itself
Yes,
for new audiences over and over. They're like, oh, this is Turtles of the '90s. This is Turtles of the 2000s. Here's Turtles of the '80s. I mean, the Ninja Turtles as a property does a good job of reinventing itself.
interested. You said Madonna. I would have went with Jay Z
There you
only
go.
because I couldn't tell you a Madonna song within the last 10 years, except for that one where she's like music, 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 like that. But I think that might be what 10 years old.
I was probably older than that,
Really? Wow.
probably.
They did a Jimmy Fallon thing that my son likes, and where they did the classroom instruments.
Hmm.
So he's Metallica, um, Backstreet Boys through Jimmy Fallon. Hey, but shout out to Jimmy Fallon. I know he gets a lot of heat for not being serious and sometimes pushing some bullshit, but I gotta say, classroom instruments. It's introduced my son to some music that I have tried to push to introduce him to, but through classroom instruments, I was like, okay, oh,
Hmm.
okay, I can get you to listen to this because you already were introduced to this by Jimmy Fallon in Classroom Instruments. So shout out to him. Um,
Shout out indeed.
so you mentioned Turtles. We know
Hmm.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is coming out. Anything else?
Um,
Or what's a franchise or a set?
you know what? I'm thinking of stuff that I liked in my childhood.
And see
So
that's where I was going. Like, what's a movie
I would
that you
probably
watched?
say I'll always be a sucker for a Power Rangers movie.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed the last Power Rangers movie that came to theaters. Now, it wasn't for everybody.
The Michael Bay version of the Power Rangers?
I wouldn't say Michael Bay, but
The updated Elizabeth Banks.
yeah, yeah. I
I
thought that was
call
okay.
I call it Michael Bay because it was very
It
modernized.
was more
Yeah,
serious now, and yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I could see that. But I really enjoyed. Not really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. They set it up that there could be a sequel.
We're not getting that
It
sequel.
didn't. We're not getting that sequel. I realize, but
You're not getting that sequel.
it would have been cool if they did that.
It's funny that you say that because you did not like the Michael Bay Turtles.
No, which is funny because the second Michael Bay Turtles movie is has a lot of stuff, borrows a lot of stuff from the cartoon that I wasn't expecting.
Hmm.
But yeah. Oh, shout out to uh who's Medea? Tyler Perry
Hmm.
in
This is
the
Baxter
second,
Stockman.
Baxter Stockman.
Mhm.
Funny.
He's very underrated. I think if Tyler Perry did more things outside of his own universe. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the man as far as like he's doing what makes him money, and I'm all for anybody making any money that doesn't hurt anybody. But
Sure.
Tyler Perry's actually very underrated because he was good in Gone Girl.
Okay.
He was good in he wasn't terrible in Star Trek for the little bit he was on screen. But I like Tyler Perry when he's not Tyler Perry, when he's like a regular guy.
Hmm.
Um any movie franchise that you want to come back that maybe wasn't handled well, and I'm going to show something
Yeah. Give me the Man from Uncle.
like
Oh, Die Hard.
so in other words, like I'm
Okay.
using this as an example. So like you said, the man from Uncle, we're not going to get Army Hammer back, but we have Henry Cavill. So maybe we get somebody else who works with Henry Cavill going forward. Um, I would posit maybe I would love to see a return to the Speedverse. Bring Keanu back for a Speed reboot. He's older. He's like
You're
I'm.
gonna get him.
I'm.
Are you going to get him and Sandy B back?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't hate the two of them pairing up. Imagine being like a cop and you see your ex, and the two of you have to work together through this. Like
Hmm.
I think Jason Patrick's speed on the boat, I think was okay. It was interesting, but I think they so wanted to be speed but not speed that it just
Sure.
didn't work. Um, but yeah, I'm all for like what's a franchise that could come back like a Top Gun. Like I think Speed, if done correctly, could be Top Gun Maverick.
Speed, if done correctly, could be Top Gun Maverick. That is saying something
I mean,
because I feel
Keanu.
like one of the big things that Top Gun Maverick does
Mhm.
is having Tom Cruise do all his own stunts.
See, I disagree, and I disagree. I think the magic of Top Gun Maverick is the fact of Tom Cruise in this world that his pure talent is not good enough, and that he has to evolve with this new class. And I wonder, can you do the same with a character who was
Uh, I feel like his pure talent is what saved him.
his his pure talent saved him, but his pure talent isn't what saved that class. It's the fact of he understood what it was to be one of them.
Hmm.
He was one of them, and the fact of he realizing his place, because you remember he said, I'm not a teacher, I'm trying to meet her expectations, and the whole time he tried to be this person that he wasn't, and he just had to be he had to cut his own way, so to speak. And I think it honestly was a very good window into who Tom Cruise, the character almost that Tom Cruise is. Whereas like and again, I think reason why I love Top Gun Maverick and I like this is because if you think about all the characters that Tom Cruise played, he always, whether it's Top Gun Maverick, which is Days of Thunder, he always played this cocky, attractive. He was the typical white dude who just kind of it worked out for him.
Hmm.
Whereas in Top Gun Maverick, it didn't work out for him. You had to evolve, you had to change, and you had certain people who were on you in your corner, whether it was Iceman, aka Val Kilmer, but he had to evolve. He had to reckon with the past, the person that he was. Same thing with Edge of Tomorrow. He was a person who was kind of a dick, who had to think about somebody other than himself. And I'm wondering, can you do that with the character that was Keanu Reeves as cop in Speed, who was that adrenaline junkie who just did things. And now, especially in this climate where we look at cops differently, how do you fight bad guys while still operating in this? Cowabunga persona. This Johnny
Cowabunga
Utah, you know.
persona. Um,
So I personally I would love to see Speed rebooted. Like he's older. He's not the, think
that's
first.
interesting that you said. So in your mind, you feel like the character that he was in Speed is the same character he was playing in Point Break.
No, but I think there's some similarities in that.
Okay.
Whereas in Point Break, he was still young. He was still like, remember, Johnny Utah was a football player who became an FBI agent. In Speed, he was, he, and it's been a while since I've seen that film, him and Dennis Hopper, but it was like he still had that bravado, that young guy that I can take on anything, you
Mhm.
know, and I want to see a more measured person who has to reckon with that past where he, like my one of the things that I always laugh at being a dad, whereas before when I would do things, I was that type of person who would jump out a window and figure out how to land on the way down. I feel like that's that archetype, that 80s, 90s action hero.
Mhm.
You can't be that dude now when you're 40.
Sure.
Keanu Reeves, his character would be 40. So how do you still beat the bad guys now? So I think that would
I
be an
feel like that
interesting.
movie exists and it's called Bad Boys for Life.
That's my point. Boom. Way to bring it full circle, Michael.
Sure. Okay.
I was looking for it. So when you said that,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's funny that, like you said, we talked about this a little bit, where it's like we have action stars who no longer have they no longer drive the movie, so to speak, like kind of like a Chris Hemsworth, whereas Chris Hemsworth has his own Extraction franchise on Netflix. That's what we used to see back in the day. An action star like a Arnold, Jean Claude. They had movies, but they were the reason why you went to see it. Now it's more franchises. It's more, you know, the characters are interchangeable. It's the movies themselves that are the stars. Um, so yeah, I think going forward, it's interesting to see what's going to be that next film or that next franchise that galvanize people to the theater. Kind of like perfect example, A Quiet Place. We're going to get a third one.
Hmm.
What's his John Krasinski?
Hmm.
He was the vehicle that made that movie possible. He was the director. He was the main star. And then, spoiler alert, he dead. We get a sequel. We get his kids. We get Emily Blunt. We throw in a Killian Murphy. Um, so what's the third one? Where do you go from there?
I don't know.
Uh,
You go back in the past.
well, we did that with two.
You go back in the past, and you try something that.
um, so yeah, Netflix is trying this. Netflix is trying to make their own franchises. They're trying to have some action movies where they have the Gray Man from the Russo brothers. They've got they had Mother that just came out recently. They have got a sequel to the Old Guard that's coming out. We got Extraction
Well, are
2
these
coming out.
franchises or are these just movies?
They want a franchise. They want something that's, because keep in mind, they want something that's unique to their platform, kind of like a Disney Plus, kind of like a HBO Max, or sorry, Max,
Hmm.
or Apple TV, where there's like you can only get this from us. So we know that Old Guard, they want that they there's a sequel coming out. We know we're getting an Extraction too. Um, we know the Gray Man, they want that to be a franchise. They want that to keep going. So I'm interested to see what's the next thing that captures people's minds, that gets people out to the theater.
All right, that'll wrap it up.
Yep. So what got you through the week, man?
Two TV shows. I don't know if I've talked about either of them on Press Play, but I've talked about them to you.
Hmm.
That show that's on Freevee or Tubi, Freevoo,
Jury duty.
whatever, Jury Duty. That is a lot of fun. It's a reality show where this guy is on a jury that
Has
is
no
taped.
idea.
He has no idea.
No
No
idea.
idea. Um,
Which I'm
I
trying to
think it
figure out is how
works.
do you not know that that's James Marsden?
Well, James Marsden plays himself,
Oh, okay.
but all the other actors, like
Hmm.
you may have like I recognize a few of them,
Hmm.
but they're not as big as James Marsden, so
Okay.
they could play as regular people you see
Yeah,
every day.
because I know because he did an interview again with Terry Gross, NPR. Go check it out. Where he talks about his career, his life. It's like I could just not imagine being on that jury duty, and James Marsden is like on 10.
Hmm.
It's like you
Yeah,
hear him
him
talk.
playing an exaggerated version of himself is hilarious.
Yeah, it's like
It's very good. Yeah.
how Sway. You
Um,
said it's two shows, so you got
yes,
jury
the
duty.
other
What's the other one?
show is on Max. It's called The Other Two.
I saw a trailer for that.
Man, is it good.
Okay.
The premise is there's like a singing sensation, like a Justin Bieber type kid,
Mhm.
who's just starting to make it big, and he has two older siblings who are not successful at all, but they want to be successful, and it's just kind of their struggle and trying to find success. It's super funny, got a lot of funny people in it.
Mhm.
Wanda Sykes is in it, Molly Shannon, Ken Marino, and I can't think of the two people, their actual names, but they're funny. Funny show overall. The third season is happening now.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm almost finished Ratchet and Clank on PS5.
Oh
What
yeah.
you doing? Yeah.
Right now I'm playing Scarlet Nexus. I have not done a JRPG in years, and I love the combat. The animation is great. I have to remember. So the last JRPG I did was nope, that's not it. Here we go. Near Automata. Can y'all see that? This was really good.
Hmm.
I love this game. Um, I highly recommend it if you have not played it. Go check it out. It's pretty cheap. Um, I really enjoyed this.
Where are you playing Scarlet Nexus at?
PS5.
Okay.
So
Is that
I
something you just picked up for cheap or something? Or
well, I had it for a while. I've had it
okay.
for a few months, and basically it was I don't know if it. I saw like a trailer for it when it first came out, and it was one of those things where I was like, "That's interesting." And then I watched like the top 5 games you're not playing or whatever, and I was like, "Okay, it's two different characters." And in order to find, and they were saying if you like Near Automata, this is a game for you, because Near Automata you have to play it multiple times to get the actual ending, and there are multiple endings. There's multiple ways depending on what you do. In Scarlet Nexus, there's two different characters, a male and female character, and you have to play both sets to get the full story.
Hmm.
And it's been a while since I played a JRPG. I needed something a little lighter after my blood pressure was up with Dead Space the remake.
Hmm.
Uh, One, I'll say this until I die. I was wrong. Remakes, there's something to them. I
Sure.
don't know how I feel about the Metal Gear Solid Delta. Still on the fence about that. But Resident Evil, this, you talked about it. Final Fantasy 7. Man, that Dead Space remake, like it just took me back, and then the updates that they gave it. But I just, it was too much. So I needed to play something new, and I popped in Scarlet Nexus, and I'm really enjoying it. TV show wise, Class of '09,
Hmm.
the latest 2 episodes are out. I'm loving this show. Kate Mara and Brian Tyree Henry. There's another woman. There's two more people on the show. They basically follow 4 main characters. Bravo, FX. Like if you like The Old Man, like we do, or I'm trying to think of some other shows, but this is one of the best shows on television right now.
Okay.
Class of '09, and I've gone back and have been rewatching Rick and Morty foolishness
Okay.
because the news has been kind of terrible, and I just need that palate
Need
cleanser.
a little something.
I just do.
Yeah.
These buildings falling apart, these shootings. I just need something that's a little like I need to see Rick be the piss master.
Pissmaster General.
That
Fantastic.
and Archer. Archer's coming back in June, so it's the final season. Uh, guys, girls, cats and dogs, chickens and rabbits. You've been watching Retrying, presented by Naughty by Nature Productions, or Nerdy by Nature Productions. Naughty by
Yeah.
Nature is a rap group.
Yeah. We just got
Um,
sued by Tretch and all them people.
hey, friend of the show, Tretch, come on the
Yeah.
show.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about let's talk about the OPP. Uh, yeah, we appreciate you watching us. Uh, take care of yourselves, people. Do whatever makes you happy within limits.
That doesn't hurt other people.
Yeah, that doesn't hurt other people within
Yeah.
limits. Because I mean, let's be honest, there's some shitty stuff that happens out there. We work in news, we see it all the time. So I'm really advocating for you guys to take care of yourselves, do what makes you feel happy within reason. Um, so yeah. Uh, Also, what franchise do you want to see going forward, or what franchise do you want to see come back? Hit us up in those comments. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Leroy. That's Michael. We out. Peace.